You know, we all have a lot of data, and it has to positively, absolutely stay safe. It can't get into the wrong hands, and the biggest challenge we have is how to transfer it from here to there. We all know as leaders that legacy tools that transfer our important files and sensitive data are mostly outdated and fall short on security, especially with the demands of today's remote workforce. Relying on outdated technology puts our organization's brand at risk, and that is unacceptable. So we are excited to invite you to step into the future of completely secured managed file transfer from our friends at Kiteworks. Kiteworks is absolutely, positively the most secure managed file platform on the market today. They've been FedRAMP moderate authorized by the Department of Defense since 2017. And unlike traditional legacy systems with limited functionality, Kiteworks has unmatched software security with ongoing bounty programs and regular pen testing to minimize vulnerabilities. And the coolest part, they have easy to use one-click appliance updates you will love. Step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks. Visit kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com to get started today. And now the show.
So welcome everybody to Cybercrime Junkies. I'm your host, David Marr. We want to provide you with some updates of why Facebook was down and talk about recent breakthroughs that have happened and why it's significant. We want you to think about things differently here. And touch on exit scams and cybercrime because we're seeing it happen right now. Let's get to why Facebook was down, why Instagram was down. Meta's platform, the owner of Facebook and Meta, went down for hundreds of thousands of users on Tuesday. It was Super Tuesday, the big political voting day here in the United States. It went down from what Meta is calling a technical issue. That was it. The outage was resolved a little bit before 10 a.m. or so Eastern and ended mostly by 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. And what's significant there is the chatter that has been happening on the dark web forums and by security experts around the globe, and that is, why did it actually go down? We see this all the time when a platform system goes down, but really everybody initially always says it's just a technical issue. We were updating something, but in reality, you see a cybercrime gang demonstrate evidence on the dark web that they were the cause of it. Well, here, what many believe is that it either was a technical issue, as Facebook is claiming, or it was a DDoS attack, a distributed denial of service attack. It's designed to force a website, computer, or online service offline. They do this by flooding the sites, flooding Facebook and Instagram sites with so many requests, legitimate requests. Basically, they flood it with so many inquiries that it crashes. If it is a DDoS attack, as some people are claiming on the dark web right now, it's only significant if a cybercrime gang takes credit for it. They declare that they did it, right? If nobody does, it's one of two options. It actually was not simple, but it simply was a technical issue, concerning the infrastructure of Facebook. Or it was a state actor, right, who wanted to disrupt social media. And that gets into national security, espionage, and other matters. We've seen this in other breaches, right? We've talked about it on the show, and that is think about the Anthem breach, right? The largest breach in healthcare, the OPM breach, the Office of Personnel Management, the Starwood Hotels Marriott breach, and the Equifax breach, all that ultimately came from the Chinese government, and there have been indictments by the Department of Justice as they found the root cause. So that's one aspect to think about this. But what gets into it is, why would a cybercrime gang take credit for it? Why is it important that they do it? Well, think about why it's so important for cybercrime gangs to have a strong reputation, to have street cred, to actually understand and have a reputation within the dark web channels, that they are powerful, that they can get things done that other ones can't get done, that they are legitimate within their context of what they operate in. It gets into the very heart of the existence of a cybercrime gang. They're there because of confidence. They're there because affiliates trust them. Organizations trust when they pay those ransoms that they are in a albeit criminal, but they have a reputation. They have a real, actual, strong entity behind them. Otherwise, they would never pay, right? They believe that they actually do have their data. And what we saw this week with the takedown of the Change healthcare system by AlphaV and Black Hat, which those that listen to this podcast know we've gone in depth into Black Hat. There's other episodes where we've talked about the rise and fall of Black Hat, which occurred this past December. But think about it. What is happening now is that law enforcement has been able to disrupt Lockbit and Black Hat. And we're going to cover Lockbit in a separate episode. But they've been able to disrupt the top 2 cybercrime gangs on the planet by destroying and making the own criminal community question their authenticity, question their credibility, and damaging their reputation. The irony here is, isn't that where they get their leverage from in the first place? Don't cybercrime gangs leverage the power they have to damage an organization's brand and reputation? But yet we're seeing the fall or the implosion of cybercrime gangs because of that very fact, because they've lost that reputation or they've destroyed it within their own community. We've seen that with Lockbit, and we're going to get into that on a different episode, but we just saw how Black Hat and AlphaV, right, has destroyed their own reputation, and caused the players there at the heads there to draw into question their own credibility and their own reputation. Here's what happened, right? We know that Black Hat had been taken down by the FBI last fall. We reported on it. It was all over the news. And then Black Hat came back, and then they went under, and then the law enforcement, the FBI, put back the banner over their website that said that they had seized it, but then Black Hat came back. They did come back because Change Healthcare, the largest pharmaceutical healthcare provider, right, was breached by Black Hat and by AlphaV. How do we know that? They took responsibility for it immediately, right? And that was last week. And it disrupted the pharmaceutical distribution of drugs that were needed by people throughout North America, throughout the U.S., throughout Canada. And it was a big deal. Well, just a couple days ago, it came out that they had allegedly paid, Change Healthcare paid Black Hat, AlphaV, $22 million in the ransom. Now, there's an issue with doing that, right? Number one, the FBI says never do that because you're paying the criminals, you're funding the enterprise to continue to grow. Number two is it also opens the floodgates for other cybercrime gangs and other ransomware gangs to start targeting organizations in that sector. Threat actors and criminal cybercrime gangs are nothing but predictable, right? If they see blood in the water and they see somebody paying in a specific industry, they all flood there. And you're starting to see spikes already as soon as this came out. So here's what happened. So Black Hat Ransomware Gang is now what they believe pulling an exit scam. They're trying to shut down and run off with their affiliates' money by pretending that the FBI has now seized their site and infrastructure again. But what's interesting is that the FBI and the NCA, the United Kingdom's law enforcement group that coordinated with the FBI, they're all saying they didn't do that this time, right? This is done by Black Hat.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You know, we all have a lot of data, and it has to positively, absolutely stay safe. It can't get into the wrong hands, and the biggest challenge we have is how to transfer it from here to there. We all know as leaders that legacy tools that transfer our important files and sensitive data are mostly outdated and fall short on security, especially with the demands of today's remote workforce. Relying on outdated technology puts our organization's brand at risk, and that is unacceptable. So we're excited to invite you to step into the future of completely secured managed file transfer from our friends at Kiteworks. Kiteworks is absolutely, positively the most secure managed file platform on the market today. They've been FedRAMP moderate authorized by the Department of Defense since 2017. And unlike traditional legacy systems with limited functionality, Kiteworks has unmatched software security with ongoing bounty programs and regular pen testing to minimize vulnerabilities. And the coolest part, they have easy to use one-click appliance updates you will love. Step into the future of secure managed file transfer with Kiteworks. Visit kiteworks.com to get started. That's kiteworks.com to get started today. And now, the show.
The gang announced just yesterday, and it is Wednesday, March 6th, that they are now selling the source code for the Black Hat malware. Remember, Black Hat came from, they believe, either Black Matter or Black Basta and these other cybercrime gangs, or have ties to some of the other ones like Conti and some of those. But what made Black Hat so unique is they wrote their code source in this Rust language, which is very new and trendy and easy to use, plug and play. It's the language that the code is written to, but that's part of the reason why it got so popular. As you will recall, as we reported before, after Black Hat was taken down by the FBI, and the FBI put their banners like this site has been seized, Black Hat came back, they restored their infrastructure, and they were angry. They were pissed. They wound up saying all restrictions of our code of ethics, meaning don't target nuclear plants, don't target children's hospitals, don't target certain more sensitive types of targets in the United States. All the gloves were off. They came back and they said, go for it. And affiliates in the marketplace, you have so much respect for us and our reputation. We're even going to pay you more of the cut that you collect in your criminal enterprises. So what happened is they went and Change Healthcare gets breached. Massive win. AlphaV, Black Hat clearly executed on their threat, right? But now it looks like they've turned on their own affiliates. Here's kind of the story. So law enforcement, as we said, even though there's a banner now that Black Hat has on their infrastructure on the dark web, the law enforcement agency listed that banner, right? And Bleeping Computer has a great write-up on this. We'll have links in the show notes. They actually confirmed with Bleeping Computer, law enforcement did, that they were not involved in any recent disruption of AlphaV infrastructure. AlphaV came out online, Black Hat came out online and said, the feds screwed us over. I can't believe this happened. But what they believe unequivocally, and what is all over the dark web now, is that the ransomware gang actually is doing an exit scam, meaning they blame somebody else and they shut down and they steal all the money. We also we saw this earlier. We've reported on exit scams in the past. Jerry Cotton potentially was an exit scam, the largest crypto exchange. There is the other crypto exchange person on the FBI most wanted, Ruja Navatola. And then there's a recent one of a criminal market that just, it was called Incognito, that was on the dark web. It was a criminal market where you can buy all of this information and then, buy all this, illegal drugs, illegal malware, fake IDs, all this on the dark web. And they just all shut down. So they take everybody's money and then they go out of business. The difference is in crime, there's no bankruptcy laws. It's not like you can make a claim and put a lien in on the remaining assets. It's not like there's a restructuring process. It's an exit scam. That's why reputation is so important. And that's why it's tied to why Facebook is down, was down, because if it was a gang, we will hear about it. If it's not, it has meaning. So what we're going to learn about why Instagram was down and why Facebook was down in the last couple of days will be very telling, and we'll report on that in just a second. So circling back to Black Hat and AlphaV. So the gang status on their Tox channel. So Tox is the encrypted messaging service, right? It's one of the things you have to do if you get involved in if you get attacked by ransomware. You have to go and download the Tor browser, get on the dark web, communicate with a foreign entity ransomware gang who's very good at their job. And you'll do this usually on a Tox channel, TOX, right? And what Black Hat's Tox channel said yesterday was GG for good game. And that was all that the affiliates and the cybercrime community needed to see. What they were doing is they were hinting at the end of their operation. And later they typed out and said, we're selling our source code for $5 million, indicating that they wanted $5 million to purchase the malware. And then it could be rebranded and repackaged under some other name, right? So in a message that one hacker forum had, and that was shared by Recorded Futures, Dmitry Semelianets, that administrators of the operation, Black Hat, said they, quote, decided to completely close the project, unquote, and they can officially declare that the feds screwed us over. So that's what they're claiming, right? But it's an exit scam. AlphaV leak site right now still shows a fake banner announcing that the FBI seized the server in a coordinated law enforcement action taken against AlphaV Black Hat ransomware. The NCA told Bleeping Computer just this morning that they were not involved in any recent disruption, nor was the FBI to AlphaV's infrastructure. And even though they list, both those entities are listed on the fake seizure message. The FBI itself has declined to comment on the seizure notice, but there's no indication whatsoever that they did this. What's also interesting is that researchers have noticed that the seizure banner image is hosted under a folder named "This website has been seized files," right? Which clearly indicates that the banner was extracted from an archive. Okay. So what's fascinating here is they simply saved the takedown notice from the old leak site and spun up some Python HTTP server to serve it under their new leak site. That's ridiculous, and that's exactly what they did. Now, despite the NCA's statement and evidence that the banner on the leak site is not the result of law enforcement activity, AlphaV, the actual criminals, the heads of that organization, they communicate with security research. They spoke with a couple different researchers, as well as Bleeping Computer itself, and they claim that their infrastructure was seized. But rumors of this exit scam, it started a while ago, right? There is an affiliate of AlphaV called Nachi, right? These are usernames that they use online. And he claimed that the gang had closed his account and robbed them of the $22 million payment from the ransom allegedly paid by Optum for the Change Healthcare attack. Think about that for a second. You have a hacker, right? Not a good hacker, a Black Hat hacker, right? You have the affiliate, the digital mercenary, who collected the 22 million, turns it over to Black Hat, and there's several examples of the evidence of the blockchain that shows that Black Hat collected this money, right? So Black Hat has the money that the affiliate did. The affiliate still has all of the data, this confidential data that Black Hat, the core group, said that they will destroy and won't release if you pay us the money. Black Hat got the money, the $22 million, and then shut down operations. That's the exit scam. The affiliate, the one who actually did the attack, still has all the data and still can release it, right? And Change Healthcare paid the money. It's in the hands of Black Hat, but they have shut down. And they did not pay their own affiliate. And in fact, there's been numerous reports of other affiliates that Black Hat is holding onto the money, all when they shut down their operations. After getting the funds, the recipient address allegedly belonging to AlphaV operators distributed the Bitcoins to various wallets in equal transactions, it looks like, of about 3.3 million. So what's interesting is while the recipient address is now empty, okay, meaning the blockchain address, the wallet for AlphaV and Black Hat, the core cybercrime group, the amount that it received in the last week or so, according to the blockchain and what researchers are saying, was close to in that didn't go back out, and then they shut down operations. So, which is just a monumental exit scam. With claims from affiliates not getting paid, a sudden shutdown of the infrastructure, and cutting ties in communications automatically with several different affiliates from several different breaches. Plus, when you couple in the GG message, that good game message on the talks announcing that they were selling their malware source code for $5 million, and then pretending that the FBI took control of their websites, all of this leads to one thing. And it looks like the AlphaV Black Hat ransomware administrators are exit scamming. What do you think? I mean, I want to hear from you. What's interesting is how in the world can those involved recover from the damage to their reputation within their community, right? Within that cybercrime community, or does it even matter, right? Are they just taking that money and retiring? But it gets to, the adage of, when you swim in that cesspool with those snakes, you're going to get bit. And this is, going to be followed up with on why Facebook was down, because it's tied based on who declares the claims responsibility for it, or whether it's not at all. That's what we're continuing to look for, and we're going to report on that. But when you think about the different effects of the reputation that this has. And when you hear about what has happened, and many of our listeners are involved in the community, for those you know what's happened to the reputation of the leading cybercrime gang on the planet, and that was Lockbit. But now the number 2, right? Black Hat was number 2 globally, like by far. Like number 3 isn't even close. So number 2 has done this massive exit scam that it seems like there's no other explanation. And the reputation of the number 1 has just completely kind of been destroyed through the efforts of law enforcement. The take here by us is this. Think about what these groups do to brands, right? They destroy reputations, but their own reputations are now destroyed. Law enforcement has done a lot more than just take down infrastructure. They've caused the very reputation of those. And when you think about an exit scam, right, why would the affiliate have transferred $22 million over to that group? Because he had confidence that they were going to pay him, right? It's about confidence. You gain confidence because of your reputation. But the confidence is the con part of cybercrime. Thank you for listening. And the next episode starts right now. Well, things aren't getting any safer online, and we're excited to tell you about our exclusive offer for Aura, which is linked in the show notes below. Hey everyone, this is your host, David Morrow, and we often get asked about individual safety and ways to protect loved ones or small business employees when they're online. So we turned to our friends at Cyber Threat Group, a full-service security consultancy located here in the U.S., and they told us all about Aura. You might have even seen actor Robert Downey Jr. in their television ads. Look, identity theft isn't cheap. The FTC reports that Americans lost $8.8 billion in identity theft and personal fraud this year, and can cost you personally hundreds of thousands of dollars. Aura provides it all. Financial and identity theft protection, a lightning-fast VPN for online privacy, antivirus, a password manager, and even parental controls for safe gaming and spam call protection. So protect your family or your employees when they get online. Give the gift of online safety. Check out the link in our show notes from our friends at Cyber Threat Group today. Aura is a great way to protect yourselves online. Check out Aura today and stay safe online.